I do think that people have to stop going, she's ugly, he's not hot, hot rodent men. Like, uh, I'm sorry. The guy in the bear is supposed to be a chef, not a surfer or a model. He looks perfectly appropriate for the part he's playing.
Yeah.
Now, women will make anyone attractive. I don't care what anybody says. The minute a guy is on screen, some woman will go baby girl.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't think men are that different.
No, because like I've realized I hate the model look that some guys have, like the really sharp jaw, and
That to me is the hot rodent man phenomenon. Like
like
Timothy Chalamet is in that Adam Driver category of the jaw is too pointy.
it's not even that, just like the not sharp jaws and like sharp chin, just like the whole face is too much like the Chad meme.
Oh, I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
It to me, it's too gay cinema.
that's exactly what it is.
And I'm not
Especially
saying
like,
that's bad. It just reads as not for me.
yeah, especially the guys they put on so many romance novels for a while. Like not Fabio. I do find Fabio fairly attractive, but I prefer a softer face. I you know,
Fabio's still too square jawed. And again, there are
yeah,
plenty of women who like this. I'm not saying I don't like it, therefore it's bad.
yeah, no, but it's like I'm also aware that like the type of guy I like is actually a bit more towards nice normal. Like I don't even know how else to describe it,
And
but I've noticed that like the guys I find attractive aren't aren't what's standard attractive. It's more kind of normal, but
and
clean, straight features.
I honestly think that if guys were honest, they'd say the same thing
Oh yeah.
about women. I mean, I do know some guys who say, that model look, it's too intimidating, it's too high maintenance. I don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
But also different cultures find different things beautiful.
Yes.
My friends from Middle Eastern cultures, they say the men like bigger women there.
Yeah.
And that's not these are not exactly bastions of progressive society, right? These are, and I do think that there is men don't want to be outed as weird, so they will say things because they think it's the right thing.
Yeah.
And some men are honest and bless them. But I do know a lot of guys who think they're weird for liking what they like.
Yeah. And because, I think I've said this before. I remember skimming through a men's magazine where a writer giving advice to a guy who was like, "Yeah, I'm not super muscly. I'm skinny." He was like, "Well, we men all like the same thing, but luckily for us, women like different types of men." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I don't like you."
And that we men all like the same type of thing.
Come on, that's not
Ayn
how humanity works.
Ayn Rand had multiple lovers.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's just not. That's not the idea that men are just settling
Mm-hmm.
for the
No.
women they end up. That's a terrible thing
Oh
to
yeah.
put out there, and it does a disservice to men.
It does a disservice to gender relations as a whole.
Yeah, like I'd like, and again, there are ways to talk about this, and that I think is posturing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a guy trying to go, come on, we're all guys here, right? And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Uh, Men, the loneliness epidemic in men, I think, is somewhat because of that.
Yeah.
And someone has to start going, no, it's not that uniform. Some men, sure. And yeah, it also has a lot to do with emotional maturity.
Yes.
And ugh, that thing frustrates me so much because I don't want to speak on behalf of guys. I
Mm-hmm.
just know the conversations I have had, and I have noticed a correlation between, I mean, I've had guys admit that the reason they keep going for incredibly attractive women that make them miserable is because someone in high school said they'd never get a woman like that.
Which is incredibly immature.
Yep.
It's like you're spiting someone, and
Well, and
that's not the way to go.
you're hate dating.
Yeah, and that's not fair to you, and it's definitely not fair to the girls.
Yeah, and I mean that I do think that there are women that do the same thing, and there are women that date for lifestyle. And
Absolutely.
the best thing you can do if you don't like this is opt out of it. Go, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to treat people that way. And if somebody seems to be doing that, I'm not going to bend myself into pretzels trying to make her like me just because she's pretty.
Yeah.
And that's
If
hard.
someone likes you, that's not necessary.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's getting worse instead of better.
Yeah.
We've been trying this pop feminism thing since 2014. 2012, I guess even that's when the feminist frequency Kickstarter got trolled. We've been
Yeah.
trying this, and all it's resulted in is younger women calling older women fat, ugly, and old on Instagram. So it's not working. Anita never married Captain Pike. So
And even worse, I think it's caused degradation between it's caused the relations between us
yeah,
all to degrade.
I think it's just
And
fucked everybody up more.
yeah, and honestly, I think we had somewhat better representation in the 2000s before all of this hit. Like, I'm
Well,
not saying it was perfect, but
yeah, I mean, we had the one flat-chested girl on Baywatch, like, which was awful. I thought Alexandra Paul was actually quite beautiful. I've talked about this before, but she was the diversity hire there, and
I mean, even you look at, I saw someone post a meme that it was, I think Disney was better at diversity when they weren't actually trying, and it had pictures from like Brother Bear, Lilo and Stitch, uh, Emperor's New Groove,
yeah,
and something else, where it's all characters of color who
Emperor's
represent.
Emperor's New Groove. I'm careful about because those were Peruvian characters, all voiced by white people. So I'm like, I like that movie, but oh no, sorry, that was shit. Was that it? The one where the guy turned into a llama?
Yes, Emperor's New Groove.
Okay, so it was that. But
Which like that's
still,
valid.
still.
That's valid. But I would say that like those characters are still well done. And if you just put the right voice actors to the right color character,
Why haven't they done a live action version of that?
because it was a financial failure.
Yeah, but there's been all this time to come to. It's a good movie.
I mean, the same could be said for Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a movie that actually deserves a remake. They should have done it when, yeah, Cole
But
Sprouse
like,
might actually still be young enough to do it.
like you could do a live action Emperor's New Groove with, people Peruvian and the surrounding areas, and it would be a whole new experience.
Yeah.
Because it was like David Spade
Yes.
back then. Like,
So like yes, okay, the voice actors are one thing, but they were still characters that
yeah,
were
it
very well written.
it exposed the world to a Peruvian story.
Yes.
And the same way Lilo and Stitch was definitely embedded in Polynesia in a way, in a very different way than Moana was.
Yes.
The fact that, Lilo's sister was allowed to be thick before that was trendy.
Oh, that is Chris Sanders' thing.
Yeah.
Like you look at his art and you quickly realize that is his thing.
And see, he wasn't disgusting about it, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I've seen some people try to claim that, his interest in thick Hawaiian girls is fetishization, but like, come on, shut up.
See, that's the thing. The minute somebody likes something different, it's fetish.
Yeah.
And I'm not cool with that, because
No.
if we want more diversity in the beauty standard, we have to stop shaming it the minute someone tries.
Yes.
And, Stellar Blade's ridiculous. If you watch my Twitch streams, I made a ton of jokes about it. But then I also was like, okay, they actually added proper weight and thickness to the clothes. That's actually how a woman built that way would look wearing those clothes in real life. I'll fucking take it, man. If this is a thirst trap, can we please have more thirst traps like this? I can defend this.
Yes. That I feel you on that one.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be for me. It can be smutty and shameless as long as it's not demeaning. And I see nothing demeaning about Stellar Blade.
Yeah. Although going back really quick to our whole, our boobs are too big for Bridgerton.
Right.
Pixar is allowed to do the mommy ass.
I just found out about this phenomenon. Oh my God, I'm so behind.
Pixar is allowed to do the mommy ass, which great, cool, but the boobs are always tiny. And it's like, they can do the mom ass and like it's sexy and it's cheeky, but it's also enough to get away with in a kids movie. But the moment you give a woman boobs, suddenly that's not appropriate for kids.
You know what's so stupid about that is that the thing that they've actually found triggers the thing in men is hip to waist ratio.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. I mean, if you look at the old 70s era, it was a different body shape because that's what they could get away with then.
Mm-hmm.
The 30s was a different silhouette. It'll swing back, and I would prefer that more than one female silhouette is considered okay for children at any given time, because people grow up in families with women who look various different ways. And think about the message you're sending when you're saying, oh, big is beautiful, not you.
Yeah.
I already have problems finding bras in my freaking size.
Tell me about it.
It's, oh my God, t-shirt bras. I've got another order in. Hope and pray that this one's going to work.
What brand this time?
It's Understance again, but they put out a new t-shirt bra because the one they had, they said it's peak proof. Nah, it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of peeking. It ain't a peak. It's a full-blown lean, Like,
oh, lovely.
I'm looking at people twice. The minute I get into air conditioning, it's like, yeah, it's cold in here, and I'm just gonna hug my chest. It just freaking and it's because people think people like me don't exist in nature. It must be surgically altered, and so we can wear, Shaper Mint camis. No. I mean, the Shaper Mint camis are great as an additional support garment, but you can't wear them because the proportions are all off. The back's too wide, the cup's too small. See, this is the stuff I wish we could actually do YouTube videos about. Bra stuff.
Oh, that would be so cool.
But the weird thing is, they can run it in an ad on YouTube.
But
if I do bra content on YouTube, I get demonetized.
Do you think the skinny girls who do the Shaper Mint, not the Shaper Mint, the Savage X Fenty ads have that problem?
Well, they do ads.
Well, I mean, not even just ads, just like sponsored videos.
Probably because they're small busted, right?
Yeah.
So
that's my point. Like the skinny girls who don't have anything, they can get away with doing here's the new bra from Savage X Fenty. And I'm like, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, no, it's weird that ads can put the Understance bras. And it's like women, they actually have an ad that's like, here's without support. Now here's it in the bra. So they're showing the side boob of a bare breast. and you can run that in an ad, but I can't do it in content.
Yeah, no. And the moment your shirt is too low cut or
Oh
anything like
God.
that. Yeah.
I did a video on physics and they shut that shit down so hard.
Yeah. No, I've talked about how not even boobs. I was doing an art stream and like in the thumbnail I had a picture where I'd laid down like the shape of the legs
Yep.
in color but hadn't put the dress over it.
Yep.
So the thumbnail got flagged as nudity.
Shit. So there's bots or something like that doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because there was I remember this going around on Facebook when they were first starting to do their bots as well. There
Mhm.
was a clip of Friar Tuck from the animated Robin Hood,
Okay.
and it's like as he's starting to push the wagon at the end, so he's kind of bent over, and his cloak, it's the friar's
Right.
cloak thing, that it's brown, so it's a kind of skin tone,
Okay.
and it kind of looked like a curvy woman bent
Oh
over.
my
If you
God.
squinted at it wrong, that got flagged on Facebook.
And see, the interesting is that's not these companies wanting to do it.
No, it's
That's
just,
them having to play nice with the advertisers.
yeah. But also, I think in that case, it was just the bot was overzealous because like they were just rolling it out. So it was before they'd fine tuned it.
But the ironic thing is that it's not the lefties that are making that happen. It's you're sexualizing children. The only thing the left and the right can agree on is they hate boobs.
Yes.
Um, and so the people who are saying stop politicizing our media are allying themselves with the very people that are the reason the media is politicized.
It's
Because
almost like it's all a horseshoe.
if you're backing these anti-censorship groups, they're right wing
Mm-hmm.
and they tend to be I mean, guys like oh, I don't remember their friggin' names, but Shapiro and Walsh and
Yeah.
they claim to be anti-censorship and then they go to pieces about the Barbie movie and WAP.
Yeah. Oh God.
How if you want to be anti-censorship, you have to show you can handle stuff you don't like.
Yeah, that's rules for thee, but not for me, which was
Yeah.
something they screamed at the left for
Well,
years, but now they're the ones saying it.
and that's really the problem of the whole I don't want political media.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, what they are saying is, I don't want media that offends my politics.
Yes.
I don't want to be challenged
Yeah.
because, like it or not, anything that depicts women in a certain way or depicts men in a certain way, all of these things have a philosophy.
Yeah.
And again, if we don't allow the philosophy, if we say it's all politics, well, then we're going to be getting less and less and less of what we all claim to want because media companies cannot, there's only so much screaming they can withstand before somebody goes, I can't take this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's devs in video games are finally starting to talk about how hard it is to not tweet when like Elon Musk took a fucking crack at Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the dev, to his credit, was like, it was so hard to not tweet. But he said, I wasn't going to convince anyone
No.
that way. And I'm like, oh, wow, a grown up.
And I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about debates and how too often they devolve into screaming. One of the best pieces of advice I ever heard for debates was you're not trying to convince your opponent, you are trying to convince the audience.
Absolutely.
So if you devolve into screaming at your opponent, you're not convincing anyone.
All right, I think that's a good place to wrap.
I think so.
Yeah, this has been Two Women Talking. I'm Leanna Kersner Tomboy.
I am Song W. Erickson Girly Girl.
And buy Calidus Chronicles Volume 2. Buy Calidus Chronicles Volume 1 on Amazon. Volume 2 is out now.
Yes.
We gotta do some sort of promotion for something sometime for Calidus, like a
Yes.
contest or something like that. A free copy. I don't know. Figure it out.
Definitely. We'll figure
But
it out.
yeah, but thanks for listening. Thanks for support. And I have a coffee. Song has a coffee.
Yes, I do.
If you wanna kick, see, that's one of the I would buy a Calidus map personally. Just saying.
I should do prints of that.
Yeah, I would buy a map print because, the community helped fund it and the finished product was gorgeous.
Yes.
So I would put that next to like my original Baldur's Gate map and stuff like that because I like fantasy maps. So there we
I
go.
will look into that.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. You guys are the best. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.